Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the M Word. My name's Robin. I'm the technical director here at Man and Machine in the UK, and it really does feel good to be back. It's been a few weeks. We've been very, very busy here at Man and Machine Towers. We were exhibiting at DCW, Digital Construction Week, Smart Manufacturing Week, and the prep time and lead up to those sessions was pretty hectic, as you can imagine. So we've taken a break for a few weeks, but we are now back presenting our M Word sessions. And we are live typically every Thursday at 2 p.m. in the afternoon UK time. You nearly said Yuki Tsunoda then, who's a great F1 driver, but wasn't what I was going for. UK time. So thank you for joining us. It's always great to see so many of you taking some time out of your busy schedule to watch us live. And also hello to all of you that are watching us back on rerun on our channel. And speaking of our channel, I'm going to hit the button again. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, let us know you're watching, and give us some feedback. We've got so many videos on our channel now. We put up short videos, long videos of all sorts of different content, from demonstrations, support guides, tips and tricks, anything from AutoCAD LT, Revit, 3ds Max, VRED, Inventor, Fusion, you name it. If it's got an Autodesk badge on there, it's on our channel. So please like us, please subscribe to the channel, and you'll be able to see when we go live if you turn on the notifications, and that would be great if you don't mind. Thank you very much. And tell a friend, or tell 10 friends. I don't have 10 friends, so I'll tell a friend, but tell a friend, let them know, and more importantly, let us know what you want to see next week, the week after, or in any of these kind of video content. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. So one thing that we get asked quite a lot is with regards to Autodesk Vault on the manufacturing side, which is a data management solution that sits in the Autodesk ecosystem. So it's fantastic for the likes of AutoCAD and for Inventor and any of the Autodesk tools, and managing the different design files and any other related data within a single central source of truth. So it is kind of our CDE in the manufacturing space. But one thing that we get asked more and more is we really want to have an easy, quick how-to or a quick start guide for users that are either brand new to Vault, have never used it before, or they're returning to it after not using it for a little while, or just as a recap. So what I'm going to do today is 25 minutes or so free training on Autodesk Vault from a user perspective. I'll be using Vault Professional, but the functions that I'm using will be mostly the same inside of Vault Basic. There might be some things to skip, but generally speaking, you could follow along. There is a fly buzzing around in here, so if I Mr. Miyagi it in a minute, you know what's happened. So yeah, hopefully this is useful. And this is directly from feedback from you guys, the community. So hopefully this will be beneficial for you. So let me just shrink myself down into the corner. What's really off-putting is we've changed the room layout in here. So our recording studio has been tweaked. I'm there now, not over there. It has been tweaked. And I'm really used to being able to look that way and see what you can see and see my live preview. But I can't because there's just a wall there now. And Ellie is sat just behind the screen behind me, looking at all the bells and whistles, making sure it's all working. So if I look a little bit distracted, it's because I don't know what's going on. But I keep seeing a distant thumbs up, so we'll go with it. Hopefully, I'm about to share my screen, and we'll jump straight in. So I haven't got round to installing Vault 26 yet, so I'm still on Vault 25. But again, whether you're Vault Pro, whether you're Vault Basic, whether you're working on 26, 25, 24, 23, typically speaking, the workflows that you're about to learn will work for all of those different versions. I'll try and point out the things that are pro specific, but generally speaking, this should be a really good introduction. What you'll need for this is from your Vault administrator, you will need to know the location of your Vault server and its address on the network or name. And you'll also need to have some login credentials for that Vault. And then all we do is once we are ready, we double click the Vault icon on the desktop or in the start bar, And you'll be displayed with a very similar screen to what I have on my laptop at the moment. So Vault is a secure system. It can log in through a Vault account, as I'm doing now. It can log in through Active Directory if you want to synchronize it to your Active Directory. It's completely up to you. You can also link it directly to your Autodesk account if you want to have that email address, password configuration, should you want to. But all we do is we specify the name of our server and the name of our Vault. If you don't know the name of the Vault, you can literally hit the 3 dots and it will show you all of the available vaults in that environment. And then we type in our password and we go ahead and hit OK. Would highly recommend you tick the box that says automatically log in next time because it's useful. And within a second or so, you will be logged into the Vault interface. Yours may look slightly different to what I have on my screen because this is now my Vault that we're logged into. Yours might have a different folder structure or a different setup. So you're going to have to kind of join the dots and cross the T's. But generally speaking, not join the dots, dot the I's, cross the T. What's going on today? I can hardly talk. It's the heat. I'll blame the heat wave. What it is. I had to get that in there somewhere. Don't blame the heat wave. It's really nice outside. Go and enjoy it. So your interface will look slightly different. But this is the Vault interface, the main Vault interface. Quite simply, we have a folder structure on our left-hand side. So we can browse through the different locations of our folder tree. On the left, you will only see what you've got permissions to see. When we go through this folder structure on the left-hand side, our real estate, if you like, in the middle will update to show us the information within that folder. That might be a mixture of subfolders or indeed a mixture of files. And we can come in and we can double click through the folders on the right or the left as you see fit. If you're used to navigating through Outlook or Windows Explorer or anything like that, you should feel right at home. But clearly you only have access to the folders and files that your user has permissions to see. I'm logged in as an administrator. I can tell that by this great big coloured bar along the bottom of my screen. By default, that's red. Ours is orange because orange is greater than red because it's our logo. So I've made mine orange, but you'll have a bar along the bottom if you're an admin user. If you are logged in as an admin user, I would wholeheartedly recommend that you have a separate non-admin user for the purpose of day-to-day usage so that you don't do anything accidentally. But nonetheless, we're logged into Vault and we have a folder structure that we can browse through. On the top of the screen, you've got commonly used tools that are accessible either by buttons directly or by one of the many drop-down links at the top of the screen. They're all fairly self-explanatory and we'll use a few of them as we go through the session. If you're a Vault Pro user, you will have a Properties panel on the right-hand side. You don't get that with Vault Basic, only Pro. This will show you properties for any component, part, assembly, AutoCAD file or folder that you have selected. So as you can see, selecting a folder here shows me folder-related properties. Selecting a file here shows me file-related properties. When I'm looking at those properties, I can view them and scroll them and customize them to my heart's content using the different options, so long as you have permissions to do so. I'll come back to the properties palette later. Moving further down the screen, on the left-hand side, you have a work list, which you only need to worry about if you're Vault Pro and using Engineering Change Order, ECO. We're not using those today, so forget about it for the purpose of today's session, completely irrelevant. Saved shortcuts is the next one, which shows you any saved searches that you or your organization has created. More on that shortly. We have, let's say, a quick menu on the lower left, which allows us to go between different areas of Vault, such as my Home tab, my Project Explorer, my list of tasks that I've got set up in here, my change order list if you're working with ECOs, so on and so forth. And again, this is completely customizable should you want to show fewer buttons, should you want to show more buttons, or should you want to completely remove things that you're not using. So again, completely customizable. And as you're customizing the user interface, that's user specific. Any user can do that as much as you want them to without affecting anyone else in the business. Before we jump in and show you this section down here, I'm going to go and select a file. But before we do that, I want to show you the search functions, because 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be looking for files by coming in and clicking through the folder structure, because it's slow and it's painful. What you need to use and what you need to get used to using is Vault's search functionality. As I mentioned, Vault has full understanding of every piece of metadata that's attached to your files. And we can search and interrogate that metadata at any point in time. So to find a file, as well as manually clicking through, we can come up to the top right of our Project Explorer, just here, and we have a search. We can simply start typing in there. So let's go ahead and do a search for sheet and press enter. Within seconds, you will be displayed with a search result. The search is very fast because Vault uses Microsoft SQL Server. Yes, it's dependent on your network connection, but it's very fast and you get results super quickly. This is doing a multi-category search by default. So when I type the word sheet in there, it's going to find every single thing in the Vault that has the word sheet in it, whether it's the name of a folder, whether it's the name of a file, whether it's a property in a file. If I come in here and search for the word Cameron, for example, my good friend and colleague Cameron, this will go and find any file or folder that Cameron has done something on. In this case, if I go and have a look through the system, we can see that Cameron's name is tagged here on the folder path. So that's sat in a folder that Cameron has made. But it also might pick up an individual file that Cameron has checked in. So it's a multi-property search. We can become more specific, but before we do that, it's worth pointing you out the recent search. Next to the magnifying glass to the right, there's a tiny singular down arrow. If you click that, you can see recent searches, and you can come in here and you can really go to town with specific searches. And you can see here some of the search terms I can start to really go to town with. In this case, we're searching for the word wheel, where the author is myself. That will show me those individual results. Now, I don't know about you, but my memory is god awful. So to be able to remember the specific terminology or the specific characters that I have to search, and umpteen of them to do a multi-category search, that's painful. Don't be doing that. Use this double down arrow here. If you expand this query, you can start building a custom search to suit your requirements, where you can add and remove criteria to look at specific metadata or specific properties as you see fit. So if I want to, for example, filter down that search and I want to say, well, actually the file name that I'm looking for contains the word sheet, but the file extension is only IPT. When I hit search, this will show me only parts that contain the word sheet. And I can further refine this search with as many criteria as I want to. The really neat thing about this is if you're working on the same project for a number of weeks, or you're working on multiple different files from different locations, we can, as a user, save our searches. Under options, we can save that search to create a saved shortcut with that information on. I'm just going to call it my saved search. We can either save that as a search, or we can distribute that across the company so long as we've got permission to do so. So should I want that search to appear on all of my colleagues' Vault, I could do that. Again, really beneficial and allows you to start driving really good practice if you're watching this from an administrator perspective. That search will then be showed under my saved searches. So if I just come back up to the top level of Vault, for example, and do a little bit of a refresh, just going to drag my Wondering where my saved searches are gone. They seem to have disappeared. There we go. So if I go up to my saved searches here, you can see my searches and you can see distributed searches that are put around the organization. So if I say my saved search, it will go and perform that same search. You can find your files quickly and easily within seconds. Save those searches and use them over and over again. So that's how we navigate and find files within inside of Vault. When we have found a file, we can single click it to highlight it, and we can see that file's metadata and a load of additional information about that file itself. For example, I'm going to go and highlight this one, which is actually checked out to my colleague Byron. Let's pick this one instead. Let's pick up the sheet metal part 4. So with the file selected, we can see that my interface changes to show me a load of relevant information against that particular file. Now this is an Inventor part. If you're not an Inventor user, if you're using AutoCAD, let's just imagine this is a DWG. And what we can see is all of the major revisions of that file if you're using Vault Pro. If you're using Vault Basic, you will just literally see every single version of the file. You won't have a revision number, but you'll have versions. Because I'm using Vault Pro, we have full revision control. So in this case, I've got 3 major revisions made up of 11 versions. So I can say, just show me the major releases. I don't really care about the in-betweens. Show me the latest and then all of the major revisions back. Each one of those can be selected and we can work on them. So we can right-click any one of those versions, whether it's a major release or one of the umpteen different versions that we have against the file, and we can choose to download them. We can choose to work on them and bring them current again should we want to. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to move on. So we have a full history. We can see both the uses of the file and where the file is used. In this case, I can see that this part file has been exported into a DXF for a laser cutting machine or a plasma machine, for example. And I can also see that it's been exported to a step file. These are directly linked back to this part, and therefore they're shown inside of this interface. If you're an AutoCAD user, this will show you things like XREFs. So it will show you where one DWG is attached to another DWG, or a DXF, or a PDF, or a point cloud, or whatever it might be. We can go and look at where used, which again shows us direct links between different files inside of the Vault. Think parents and children. So in this case, the Uses tab treats the current selected file as the parent, and it looks for any children that are used within this file. In this case, the DXF and the step cannot exist without the part. They are children of the part. The Where Used tab flips that on its head. This treats the current selected part as the child, and it looks for any parents. Yes, the part can exist on its own, but it can also exist in other circumstances. This part is used, for example, on this assembly. That assembly is used within these assemblies, and in turn, these assemblies are used within these assemblies, and it goes on and on and on. For an AutoCAD example, your XREF is linked to the main drawing. The main drawing is linked to many XREFs. So you can see all of those relationships. This is really, really fantastic functionality because you can instantly see what's this going to affect. If I open that sheet metal file, I can instantly visualize, if I update this, what other files do I need to think about updating? Whatever drawings do I need to go and get out and make sure that they're using this latest version, if I want them to. So really, really neat functionality. If you're Vault Pro, you have change orders, skipping that for today. You have a View tab, which allows you to view the latest version and previous versions of that file directly in Autodesk Vault. I'm not taking you through all of the if, buts, and maybes with regards to the viewer today, but if you scroll your mouse wheel in and out, it will zoom. If you click and hold your mouse wheel, using it as a button, you can pan. If you click your left mouse button and rotate, you can orbit the model. If you find that really unnatural because you're not used to using a 3D viewer, you've got a pan button here, you've got a zoom button here, and that puts everything onto that standard left click. We can measure, we can add redline markup, we can add sections. I will leave you to explore and play with that functionality in your own right. But all I will say is if you go to markups, you can create and add redline markups and share them around the organization. This becomes really powerful to enable collaboration between different departments, and between different users within your company. It really helps to take what's traditionally print a massive drawing and get your felt tip out and redline mark it. We can do that electronically. It's tracked and tagged against the model or the drawing at all times, and we can go through the process, which is really, really fantastic. We've also got a couple of other tabs here that you don't need to worry about. They're using Vault Data Standard, which you don't need to worry about for today, but they just extend the functionality with some more tool sets. So that's a whistle-stop tour of the user interface. Before we go any further, I want to jump into Inventor and show you how we connect to Vault from Inventor and how we just get started. How do I get a file in? I want to just check a file into Vault. How do we do it? So let's show you. Again, I've got Inventor 25 open. And the key for this is you need to make sure you have a Vault project set. If you're using AutoCAD, you need to make sure that your AutoCAD knows where to save the files so that they're going to work nicely with Vault in your local workspace. More on that in a second. My Vault project can be identified by the fact that it is of type Vault. So in Inventor, my projects have either a single user project type or a Vault project type. Your administrator will be able to show you where your Vault project is and help you load it into Inventor. If he can't, or she can't, or they can't, then go into your Vault and typically speaking, go to the top level Project Explorer. You're looking for an IPJ file. I want to download that file. Vault needs to be able to work on any number of workstations, whether it's a laptop, physical fixed workstation, whether it's using Windows latest version of Windows 10 with a C drive, whether it's a slightly older version of Windows 10 with a secondary D drive. It needs to be able to work. So what Vault has under File is a working folder. A working folder is an area on your local hard drive where the Vault client will save information and where Inventor and AutoCAD will open information from. Vault is a server-based tool, but I don't want to open a file from the network. It's slow. There's a potential for two people to try and open the file at the same time. Loss of work. It's difficult to find data. There's no knowledge of is that the only version of that data? We need to work centrally from the Vault. I've also got a really, really fast M2 SSD in my laptop here, and I want the benefit of opening the file from my local hardware so it's quick and I'm getting the performance that as a designer, quite frankly, I need, let alone want, from my workstation. So Vault sets a local workspace. For me, C drive, $Vault workspace. The dollar, so it's always at the top of the tree for those of you that didn't know. Your administrator typically fixes this so that you can't change it. But find out what it is, and then when we find our IPJ file, if you right click, we can choose Get. Get is the same as download. When you choose Get, you're telling Vault that you want to download that file. So it's going to download one file. We can choose to include children, include parents. I don't care. For the purpose of this, it really doesn't matter. Download that IPJ, press OK. The file will download. Inside Inventor then, we can go to our project settings. We can click Browse. We can go to our Vault workspace and select our vaulted project. We can activate our vaulted project. And then we will be able to see the Vault tab and we will be able to log into the Vault tab using the same secure details that you used to log into your Vault client. Again, I recommend you tick automatically log in next time so that it's always logging in. Vault will just check that you've got all of the latest templates and functionality ready, and then you're ready to work. So we can just say, do you know what? I want to start a new file. From that file, I'm just going to go ahead and make a change. So let's just do a really simple design. Let's do a nice big circle, and we'll just extrude that into a cylinder. So the world's most complicated design, there it is. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to press save. Now, because my Vault is set up to do lots of lovely automatic stuff, it's going to ask me what file name I would like the Vault to generate, and Vault will generate a standard naming convention for me. If you want your Vault set up in a way so that it's more automatic, so that it's more friendly and it's doing what it is that you want it to do automatically rather than mundane tasks, rather than managing file and drawing numbers through a separate Excel spreadsheet, give us a call, drop us an email, and we can help you configure this to suit industry best practice and industry standards. In my case, I'm just going to come in and say, firstly, my screen here is a much different resolution to that at my desk, so I apologize for the squinting. And I'm just going to say that this is MAM 99999, just so I can find it. From there, I'm going to save it into my designs folder. I'm going to create a new folder in there called YouTube Live, and I'm going to save the file. That's saving it to my local disk. So if I go and have a look within my Windows Explorer, which opens on another screen, I'm going to go to my Vault Workspace, Designs. I then have a YouTube Live folder, and there is my part. I specified MAM, lots of nines, and then it's generated number 0 sequentially. It's the first file on that project number. To get that file into the Vault, I click the Vault tab, or I go to the Vault browser in the ribbon, and I can choose check-in here. I can choose check-in here, however you want to work. Click check-in. This will upload the file to my Vault server. As part of that upload, I can keep the file checked out. I can close the file and clear it up from my local workspace, add some comments, and press OK. The file will be visualized into a DWF file so that that view will work inside the Vault. The file is then saved, checked in, and closed. If we go and have a look once again inside of my C drive, the file's now gone. So again, as a designer, I want my C drive nice and clean. I want my D drive nice and clean. It doesn't leave potential old versions that you might open accidentally or whatever it might be. It doesn't do that. It cleans it. It keeps it running at its best. But if I go over to Vault and go to my Designs folder, and let's just hide that search, you can see in there, I now have a YouTube Live folder, and there is the file that I've just checked in. Again, if you wanted to search, we could just do a search for YouTube, and there are my folder and my file. That file has automatically, because I'm using Vault Pro, been given a lifecycle state, a revision number, and a category. Again, our Vault is set up so it does mundane tasks for us automatically. All of this stuff is done. It gives it the right lifecycle dependent on what it is. It automatically creates step files, DXF files, automatically sends data into Business Central, automatically pings information up into Fusion Manage PLM. We can automate mundane tasks. Again, I hate to pry during these sessions, but if you're using Vault and it's not doing what you were promised it would do, it's not doing what you hoped it would do, or you're just struggling to get a good configuration, please reach out. We can help you. We have a lot of very clever engineers that are much cleverer than me that will help you understand where Vault is falling short and really get the most of either your Vault Basic or your Vault Professional installation. So please give us a call. So here's the file. We have one version because I've only checked it in once, and everything's been added automatically. If it wasn't, then you would add the category using the Change Category button. You would put it onto a lifecycle using the Change State button, and you would add the revision using the Change Revision button. But ours is doing that for us automatically. From there, I'm going to right-click the file and show you that those tools are also available on the right-click. So I'm going to say that I want to right-click and change the state of that file because I've finished my design and I want to send it to my design manager for them to review. So I'm going to move it from work in progress to for review. You will only see the lifecycle states that you have permission to transition to, and it will only let you do what you are allowed to do. I can add comments and I can include any children or parents as you see fit. For this example today, we only have one file, so it's really easy. Press OK, and that file will be sent to for review. It also locks the file. If you don't like the look of the interface, all of this can be customized. So I can drag all of this information around so that we're seeing different locations in different areas. Different locations in different areas? Scratch that. Different icons or different metadata in different locations. You can also customize the view to add as much or as little as you want with regards to different columns. So that file's gone to for review. And maybe you want to search your Vault for any file that's sat in a for review space. Again, don't forget that search and how powerful it is. Go and do a search, look for state for review, and commit the search. Take the options, save the search, all files awaiting review. Remember that save search will let you instantly find and locate any file of any search criteria at any point in time. That's really useful to be able to find files that are checked out by anyone before they go on holiday, so that you can't not work on the file whilst they're away for the sunny weekend or whatever it might be. So here's all the files that are awaiting review, and here's the file that we've just taken. You can see that everything is tracked. Everything you do in Vault creates a version. So because I pushed that file to for review, we have an audit trail that we can report upon at any point in time. I'm going to imagine that I've checked that file and I'm happy with it. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to change state, and I'm going to say that as someone that has permission to do so, that file is now released. We just refresh the screen. You'll see that that file disappears from my for review list. And I can now go back and search for my YouTube folder again. Helps if I spell it correctly. And there's the file in a released state. Again, locked because nobody can edit a file when it's released. Should I need to edit that file, I could change the state. And should your lifecycle support it, I can go to a quick release. Mine doesn't, so I'll have to go to a work in progress state. By going to work in progress, we've set our Vault up to bump the revision to B because we're working alphanumerical. So we have revision B now sat there without the padlock, ready to use. A lot of these functions can also be done inside of Inventor or AutoCAD. So should I want to go to my Vault tab and open from Vault, I have the ability to open directly from Vault using Inventor rather than having to work on the file inside of the Vault client. I have my saved searches. So I can come in here and I can go ahead and say that I want to go to my, I wish I hadn't have not shut down when I came downstairs and plugged into a different size monitor. That one. I can access that saved search that we began and created at the start. Or I can do another search, and I can search there and then the word YouTube. Again, it really is fast. Hopefully you're following along and you can take my word for it, but Vault is a really, really fast tool. So long as it's set up correctly. If your Vault is not fast, give us a call and we'll help you figure out why it's running slowly. So I can open this file directly from Vault in Inventor. When you do that, Inventor will ask if you want to check the file out. We can say yes to say that we want to edit the file, at which point we can add some comments. If Inventor identifies that properties have updated inside of Vault, it will ask if you want to update them in Inventor, and it will go through and do that process. That might be updating information on a title block to say that it's no longer released, for example. Typically, our job processor updates on release to make sure that your release drawings are correct or your full review drawings are correct. Again, it really depends how you're configuring the file. But we can open the file from Vault directly in CAD. We can check that file out directly in CAD. We've also got the categorization, the state, and the revision tools directly in CAD if you need to use them. If we want to, we can close that file. Let's not save it and not check it in. Go to Vault, do a refresh, and you can see that our look and feel changes to show that the file is checked out. It's got a tick and it's got sort of blue and bold. If this was italic with a line struck through it, it means one of your colleagues has the file checked out. I don't actually want to edit this at all, so I'm going to right click and show you that I can undo my checkout, which rolls the file back before you said that you want to check it out, and it goes back to the revision that it was before you checked the file out to work. To complete this process, if I double click on the file within inside of the Vault client, it will automatically say, do you want to check it out? If we say yes, it will check the file out and it will open it directly inside of Inventor or whatever tool that you last used to save the file. Vault understands whether you opened it in Inventor 25, AutoCAD, whatever it might be. So you can, it's opened on my other screen, I'm not going to drag it over. You can work on it the way that you want to. You can also, if you're working on larger files, use a wider interface to understand what's going on. So if I go and have a look at this all-terrain vehicle and pick up a really large assembly, if I right click and check out rather than double clicking, or sorry, not check out, if I right click and get, we get an interface whereby we can expand to say I want to download and I want to check out all children and all parents of this file. In this case, very large design, it would check out 655 odd files for editing. You don't need to work like that. You only really need to check out files that you know you're going to edit, or you want to edit later, or you want to hold them to make sure no one edits them while you're doing something else. Vault really supports that workflow. If you've got two files open but only one checked out, when you try and edit the file that is not checked out, Vault will prompt you. It's a really useful tool and it just works as you would expect it to. And really, that's kind of all I wanted to show for the purpose of today. And that's literally scraping the surface of how to get started using Vault Basic or Vault Pro. So in a nutshell, if you're using Inventor, make sure you've got your project file set. Use search. Don't manually browse through your folder structure. Use the search with single criteria or multi-criteria search to find the data that you want quickly. It will use all those properties. Customize the view to show the information that you want to see so that you don't have to go scrolling through properties or searching through files to find the relevant information that you're after, whether it's a project number, whether it's a customer, or the purchase order number, whatever it might be. Use Vault to your advantage. And if you're having any problems setting that up, reach out and let us know. Once you've found your files, you can download them with Get. You can check them out with Check Out or with a simple double click. Leverage a saved search. Use a saved search in Inventor. Open the file and check it out in Inventor. work on it, save it, and check it back in. You've then got the ability to go through life cycles, workflows, and revision control as you see fit. I really hope that session's been useful. I'll just try and go back to my big screen. Really hope that's been useful. Fairly rushed, about half an hour or so. Vault training for a user typically takes between half a day and a day to do it properly, let's say. The same for an admin, between half a day and a day to do it properly. So if you want more, let us know. We have Vault e-learning training where you can do self-paced training, much like what you've done today, but maybe a little bit more specific and a little bit more structured. We also do virtual training online through a webcam and face-to-face training. So let us know if you want to see some more. If your Vault's messy, we can help. If your Vault's manual and not doing what you hoped it would do, please let us know. Even if you call us or reach out with an email just to see, is this doing what it should be doing? Because I thought it would do more. Let's start a conversation and let's get your systems working better for you. Whether it's driving better standardization, whether it's driving automation, whether it's linking with systems outside of your internal ecosystem or outside of the Autodesk ecosystem, we can help you. I really hope that's been useful. We will be back next week, 2 o'clock next Thursday, and we'll be looking at it's something on the construction. I think it's docs. So similar, but Autodesk docs. So we'll be looking at the Autodesk Construction Cloud next week. Thank you ever so much for your time. Go and get an ice cream. It's hot outside. You deserve it. Unless you're rewatching this and it's like November, December, or somewhere really cold. Sorry if that's the case. Don't get an ice cream. Get a cup of tea. Whatever you're doing, have a good day. Please enjoy the weather if you are watching this live. And until next time, take care. See you soon. Cheers now. Bye-bye.